Sonic the Hedgehog celebrated its 30th anniversary this month, and to celebrate that anniversary, Sega held a concert in which Sonic's greatest hits were played by the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra, followed by a rock concert featuring Tomoya Otani's band, and of course the band that made the Sonic franchise what it is today, Crush 40. Immediately following this concert, this tweet by Aerospace Cowboy began making the rounds, stating, "Crush 40 is objectively more influential than the Beatles." Now, as an avid Crush 40 fan, and avid Beatles not fan, I decided to finally make use of that college stats course I took almost a decade ago and see if I could back up this claim with some cold hard numbers. After some cursory data collection, I came up with this equation, which determines a musician's influence rating using nothing more than their monthly Spotify listens and a few simple to track down stats related to the band. This is what we in the industry refer to as a post hoc analysis, which is a fancy way of saying we gathered all our data before figuring out how to analyze any of that data. And because post hoc is a Latin phrase, the language of science, you can rest assured that this analysis is completely unbiased and definitely doesn't point to any massive systemic issues in the science community that are currently undermining all of our credibility. Anyway, the equation is quite simple to use. You take the number of years that the band has been active, 10 for the Beatles from 1960 to 1970, and 23 for Crush 40, who got their start back in 98 with Open Your Heart, the main theme of Sonic Adventure. Then you look at the number of albums and EPs that the band has released, 7 for Crush 40 and a lot more for the Beatles. Okay, well we can go ahead and drop singles and music videos from the list since they're typically associated with an album or other release. And mashups. What mashup albums were there? Yeah, nope, okay, not dealing with any of that. 119 it is. Next we grab the Spotify numbers, which may suggest that the Beatles are going to blow Crush 40 out of the water in terms of influence, but there's one last term in my equation we need to discuss. Eagle-eyed viewers will have noticed that I left one of the terms here undefined, this 10 to the power of C. Well, this C is what I like to call the cancelability quotient. After all, how influential are you really if all of your opinions are complete dog shit? Now, variables as exponents are powerful things. Even relatively small differences in the cancelability quotient can have massive knock-on effects on the band's final influence rating, so we need to be very precise in our estimations of cancelability. And after several weeks of rigorous study, I have determined that the N-word appears on the Wikipedia page for the Beatles in what has to be the most baffling description of the band I have ever read in my life. The British poet Philip Larkin described their work as an enchanting and intoxicating hybrid of native rock and roll with their own adolescent romanticism, and the first advance in popular music since the war. Conversely, the N-word doesn't appear at all on Crush 40's page, hence the cancelability quotient is 1 and 0 respectively. Plug those numbers into your favorite calculator app and we find that not only does Crush 40's influence rating of 697,869 beat the Beatles, they're more than 3 times as influential as the Beatles with their paltry score of 206,726. So, what does all this mean? Well, first of all, it means that the tweet was right, just demonstrably, scientifically, a true statement. But more importantly, we now have a way of estimating how influential any band in the world is. Think about it. All those petty forum debates over whether Fall Out Boy or My Chemical Romance is better can now be ended. We can finally figure out if Cat Stevens and Joe Satriani are even popular enough to have been ripped off for Coldplay's Viva La Vida. The possibilities are truly infinite.